Hey, everybody. It is Thursday. That's AI Day. And we try to do a roundup of what's going on in the AI world. Remember, this is the biggest thing to ever hit this planet. Thank you all for coming. Big thank you as well to long-term holder. Really, you shouldn't. And Dr. Pepper, Martello 45, Sean D, TND, and K8. You are all incredible. Let's get into this one. Superintelligence rising. There's people say that superintelligence is decades away. And there's others that are freaking about it now. So the question is, where does the truth lie? Let's figure it out. This one's called Superintelligence, and a big, not financial advice, of course, and a big thank you to Jack D87. Jumped into Patreon recently, really enjoying the Discord and the email updates. Awesome. So, and this will also be a new playlist. This is the impact playlist as well for people who are only interested in AI. But I must say, this is more important than Bitcoin, everybody. This is more important than crypto. This is more important than probably any other thing you could possibly imagine. First of all, a quick update. We had the long earnings call yesterday for Tesla, and a lot of good stuff came out of it. But we had analysts come out too. And Dan Ives, friend of the channel, a cool guy, he said Tesla is going to double over the next 12 to 18 months. Not bad. A lot of good stuff. We're on the cusp of something very big right now. Hold on a second. Well, hopefully the dog will stop. Also, this has been around for a while, but important to reiterate again because it was reiterated yesterday. Optimus version 3 will be the biggest product ever, 10 times larger than the iPhone, which is the biggest product ever. It's crazy. Just be prepared. A lot of people think, again, robots are decades away, 5 years away. They are not. Okay, they are not. They're coming way faster than you would imagine. And Good Blackson, thank you as well. FSD, a little bit of an FSD update here. Shout out to Sawyer Merritt who created this chart. FSD drivers are doing 14.13 miles every single day. And version 14 is rolling out to more cars, which is sentient, better than humans. This is just going to explode. This is going to also drive a lot of sales of vehicles. And the other cool stuff, a whole bunch of cool stuff came out of the earnings call yesterday that you may have missed. One was the fact that as people experience FSD at scale, the demand for the vehicles will go through the roof. Again, you can buy a car for $35,000 and it drives itself. Also, you can use it as a robotaxi or put it into a fleet as a robotaxi in the future as well. And that's what a lot of people don't really understand. A lot of talk about other companies doing self-driving, but don't fade Elon. Nobody is anywhere near the level he is at. A little bit of finances about Tesla too. They have now generated over $20 billion. To put that in perspective, it's going straight up. You compare that to every other, I know it's not a car company, but if you do compare it to EV makers, every other company loses money. Tesla don't. And everything that they do makes a lot of money, including their services. Rivian here, for perspective, has lost $22.8 billion in a very short number of years, while Tesla has made basically the equivalent of that. It's insane how much money they are printing. And sadly, Rivian are having a layoff, more than 600 workers with the EV pullback. They are struggling to sell their cars. Again, it's a very competitive world out there. Not only not make a profit, they lose a fortune, but they can't even sell the cars that they lose a fortune on, which is kind of scary. Also, Tesla, this shout out to AJ. He put this together, just how much Tesla is spending on AI infrastructure. Again, it's a car company who spent nearly $7 billion on artificial intelligence infrastructure. And that's 10% of Tesla's entire investments. So it's a big chunk is on AI, and that's a big pivot for the company itself. And Dan, again, back, he says Elon's pay package will be approved by wide margin. Of course, Tesla and the board and retail investors all want the 10x. So it's probably going to be approved. And again, I will say for maybe the fifth time, never before in my history of looking at stocks have I seen a roadmap to a 10x. Milestone by milestone by milestone. That gives me great confidence. And I missed Tesla today by $2. The limit order. I got too chintzy on the limit order. Let's talk about AI and LLMs because that's why a lot of you here. What's going on in the world? First of all, Macrohard. They have a quick update. They painted the roof, which is visible from space. And for those of you who don't know, Elon Musk is planning to build a company that handles all software development automatically, except manufacturing of physical things. And this will blend outsourced design approach with Microsoft's licensing model. And the project will focus on AI agents to operate as autonomous digital employees capable of coding, debugging, managing projects, being administrators, etc., making tons of creative decisions independently, and also creating enterprise software. And these agents will continuously improve and do everything that you possibly want. And this is all coming next year, real soon, real soon. And 80% of human level quality at 1% of the cost and 100 times the speed. Absolutely bonkers to think about. Hang on a second. I gotta. Come here, inside now. Come. Sorry about that. The dog is barking. No. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, dog making another surprise appearance. So that's Macrohard. The world is changing very fast, and I've spoken openly about the dangers of AI to basically what I do as well, telling people for years that it's only a matter of time before AI will also take over investing. But investing, short-term investing, scalping, day trading, that's all going to be done by AI. And OpenAI hired ex-investment bankers for a project called Mercury. Is going wild today. They have this team to enlist ex-bankers to train AI for trading, financial modeling, all that good stuff. And then their eventual plan is they'll have these AI systems will handle both financial modeling and replace junior bankers from doing routine work. And they also have participants from over 100 former bankers from JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and a bunch of MBA students from Harvard and MIT. And anybody who is involved in the project will be getting $150 an hour. So if you want to be part of it, I'm sure you can sign up somewhere. No idea where. But anyway, this is how the world is changing very fast. And Alibaba, in full disclosure, I've got a little position in Alibaba too. They have now created a deep research tool. Again, talk about the traders of the world being made redundant by AI. That's why you need to know about this stuff because it's coming fast. But also, Alibaba have a thing, the Qwen deep research tool, and it has an optional activation chat, which can do things like create content, web pages, podcasts in seconds, everybody. And it's supposed to be better than ChatGPT. So you can spin up an e-commerce website, whatever. It's just crazy. And this is happening out of China. Interesting. And speaking of another not Alibaba, but Anthropic, they're in talks with Google Cloud on a Google Cloud deal worth tens of billions of dollars. Again, more circular money in the whole space. But as you know, at the end of the day, the winner will take most. And who that winner is will be the firm with the most compute. And that's all she wrote. Now, another crazy thing as well. This is the little study that popped out a day or two ago. It was the amount of content on the internet that's used for research. And AI generated content now dominates the internet. We've gone past the tipping point. 52% of all content on the web for research is now created by AI. And this is why sometimes if you have content that's generated by AI from content that's out there, odds are some of it can be erroneous. And that means relying on AI could be fatal. The old expression is garbage in, garbage out. Well, we could be in one of those situations right now. And by their nature, AI models tend to converge to one true answer. And sometimes those answers are fake. We'll get to that in a minute too. But this is exactly how you need to be very, very careful in all things AI, all things research, etc. And for those of you who struggle with KYC over the years, you got to upload your passport or whatever to try to get approval with things like Binance. Well, this is hilarious. A Polish researcher created a fake passport using AI, and it passed a real know your customer check. The traditional ID scans and selfie verifications are no match for today's hyper realistic AI forgeries. So be careful out there if you are trying to do something with somebody. Who knows? They may be sharing fake identification. So be very cautious out there. And speaking of what could go wrong with AI, Elon said what possibly could go wrong was ChatGPT 5 is the most used chat model and shows almost perfect egalitarianism for all groups except Caucasians. It says here whites, who are valued at 1/20th of their non-white counterparts. It was a really weird study where they went to all the top AIs like ChatGPT and Haiku and everything other than Grok. But a quick summary of what it came up with, just to show you how research can be bad. It was all about racial, ethnic biases. And nearly all models, and I looked at this for 2 days because I couldn't believe how bad it was. But basically, well, we showed that white people are worthless and other races are far more valuable than white people. And then it said the models heavily devalue men relative to women, again, and binary, non-binary, whatever that stuff is. I don't know. This is Claude Haiku, and they had a visualization as well. And then there was professional and political biases. Again, most models show disdain for different types of agents that are out there, not AI agents, but other enforcement agents. Very shocking. And it's just the stuff that this came out with. Check it out. It'll blow your mind how bad and how corrupt and how biased AI is. So be careful with research. Let's talk about chips for a second. A big part of the Tesla call yesterday, Elon spent quite a bit of time talking about AI 5, the Samsung deal. And this is from my little Substack yesterday. I wrote up during the call all the big takeaways. But Elon seems incredibly impressed with not just Samsung and their ability, but how advanced the AI 5 chip will be. And both TSMC and Samsung are building the same chip. And they want as many of these things as they can, because if they're not running in robots or cars, the same chip will be, the same stack will be in these different robots. Vehicles are robots. Robots are robots. But any excess chips that they have, they'll put them in the data center and use them for processing as well. It's basically a GPU, but they deleted the legacy GPU component of it and deleted the image signal processor. And it's basically, he believes it'll be a real winner and one of the most powerful chips ever created. Crazy. Now, let's talk about quantum now. If you're into Bitcoin, this can be a little bit of a concern too. And I don't want to alarm stuff. I'm doing some more research on this with the gang, and we have somebody on the team who knows quantum very well. But this came out, and it's a scary looking machine. This is built by Google, and they just announced their breakthrough on its Willow chip. They have a new algorithm, I think it's called Quantum Echoes, and they can solve problems 13,000 times faster than the world's top supercomputers. And it's the first quantum algorithm that can be independently verified on other quantum machines. And this is huge as well, because verifiability is a huge step towards real-world applications. The algorithm shows how quantum hardware and software must advance together. Very, very important. And these machines can calculate things in parallel, not sequentially, which makes them ultra fast, hence the 13,000 times more speed than other supercomputers. So when you think about the iterations and the rate of change and the rate of development, it's getting insane really quickly, really quickly. Let's talk about defense for a minute. And this is one of the areas where I do believe that AI can help defend and stop things like war or make wars have less casualties. But there's a firm called A16Z. They did a couple of things. They raised their biggest fundraising round in the history of the firm or any VC firm, raising $10 billion. and they will be deploying that money into AI infrastructure and also defense, AI defense companies, just like this one. Anduril is probably one of the hottest pre-IPO stocks out there, and they created a thing called an EagleEye AI helmet for soldiers, and it's a mixed reality AR system with 360-degree battlefield awareness, drone control, all from your eyes, and real-time teammate links, powered by AI for enhanced security operations. So again, this is all happening very, very, very quickly. And hopefully this technology will save people, save lives. Let's talk about jobs in the future. Some interesting things happening here. Many people think, we'll have this infinite abundance from AI, which is wonderful, and it won't impact jobs. But I think it might. In fact, AI, Meta, who've been on a complete hiring spree, they're cutting 600 of their AI jobs they struggle to fill in a very short window. Again, aggressive recruitment. Now, all of a sudden, they're trimming its superintelligence labs to streamline. Ironic, again, given the poaching news and the signaling a very hard pivot towards efficiency, and maybe they had a very bloated AI team. But one of their I think Wang said it in the thing, it's like, we will be reducing the size of our team. Therefore, fewer conversations will be required to make a decision, and each person will have more load bearing and more scope and impact. So here you have the irony of this is you got AI teams that are being cut and told they'll have less headcount, and they've got to have more load and be more effective and efficient. You can't make this stuff up. Bizarre. And AI extras. This is a guy called Kevin O'Leary. Can be a little bit political, but he pushes for AI extras in Hollywood, in films. Yes, the Think Tank, some show, I don't know, suggested replacing human extras with AI in the agent form. And there's a movie called Marty something. Again, I don't know anything about Hollywood or this movie, but claiming it could save millions. And there's huge backlash to this because Hollywood does not want to lose jobs. The writers do not want to lose jobs to AI. And the actors and the extras don't want to lose jobs to AI too. But either way, what's going to be happening in the very near future is movies will be created using AI, not Hollywood. And I've always thought, wouldn't it be great if you could, sometimes they make movies and they have terrible endings, but you could take that movie and redo the whole ending and make it better. Who knows? Weird. Anyway, that's Hollywood. And that leads us into our little Orwellian corner. This was an interesting piece. This is experts from around the world. And this has kind of really got my attention because people say, oh, artificial superintelligence is decades away, it's never going to happen. And all of a sudden, there's a petition that calls for a ban on AI superintelligence. And somebody drop a comment and answer this to me, because I don't know why the figures that are against AI and superintelligence all tend to be, I think, from the UK. You've got Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Richard Branson, and a whole bunch of others. I think Apple Steve Wozniak is in there. Jeffrey Hinton, another British guy. He's the godfather of AI. Royals, security advisors, authors, Yuval Harari, I think, a bunch of Nobel laureates, religious people. They all are signing this petition to ban artificial superintelligence. It was just the weirdest thing because, if they ban it, say they ban it in the UK or ban it in the West, ban it in the US, the Chinese are still going to build it. So do you want to not have a competing offer against what the Chinese are going to build anyway? Again, you cannot stop progress. So this is ridiculous. The people signing this petition need their heads examined, in my humble opinion. Yeah, there's a question here from Badger. Let me pop this up because this is very important. Thoughts on David Sachs saying AI impacting reducing jobs is basically a false narrative. I think because he works for the government, he's got to be careful what he says. But the data is there. AI is reducing jobs. I've given countless numbers of cases of how companies are using AI to become more effective and efficient and do a lot more with less. Just like that quote I just shared from, what was it, slide 30, I think, from Meta. They cut 600 AI jobs because that executive said words to the effect of, fewer conversations will be required to make a decision. Each person will have more load bearing and have more scope and impact. That was the reason for the whacking. Okay. So when you have Meta whacking the people that just brought on and paid millions and billions to get, and then they whack them within months because AI will empower them to do more load and have less conversations. That shows you that what David Sachs is saying is, I think, with that all shadow of a doubt, jobs will be impacted. Um, I wish I was wrong, but it's already happening. Just take, for example, transportation. Take all the Uber drivers in the world. They're going to be hit hard too. And that's just reality. In fact, Elon Musk said yesterday on the call that basically AI is essentially, or FSD is done. It's cooked. Now they can focus on scaling vehicles and getting it out there as quickly as possible. So that's where we are, everybody. That's going to have a huge impact on Uber jobs. And we're going to wrap up with meme du jour. Thank you for the question. Um, which is kind of funny. FSD 14 users versus FSD 12 and 13 users. They are launching FSD 14, which is the sentient version for AI 4 cars first, not the AI 3 cars. And they did say they'll have it, a light version of FSD 14 coming in Q2 2026 for FSD 13 people right now with AI 3. So I just thought that was interesting. And I want to say thank you, Dr. Pepper, Martello, long-term holder, Redrich, DBF 430, Chaotic Coder, Anglo Blackson, Buckhorn, Bowie McDuck, and Timeless Wisdom in less than a minute. I like that. I like things in less than a minute, and I try and share a nugget every minute. Thank you all for coming, my friends. Have a good night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday Fire. Let's check in on the market, by the way, because I was so busy today wrapping up this. The market rebounded kind of nicely for a little bit. Bitcoin up 2,000. Tesla dipped hard and then rebounded hard too. And a lot of the other AI stocks are on fire, and S&P 500 continues to make new all-time highs. Wow, Tesla ended up over $10 today, and it dipped as low as 413. I had a limit order 411. That would have been a nice snipe. Don't get too chintzy with limit orders. Don't make my mistake. Thank you all for coming, my friends. Thank you to the mods in the chat. You rock. Hope you enjoyed AI Impact. And drop suggestions if I'm too unvarnished, too direct. But AI is coming fast. That's why they're writing a petition to block it. Thanks all. Good night.